football and activities and all that kind of stuff. So there's refreshments in the back for anybody who didn't get any. If you're watching by Facebook, I'm so sorry that you missed out on refreshments. I apologize. I'll mail you some. No, I probably won't, but praise the Lord. I'm excited that you're here. So Pastor Frank, when somebody comes on there, would you welcome them so that I know who's... Are you doing that from here?
I'll do it from mine now.
Okay, well, I'm starting. I'm already on Facebook right now. I don't think you can do it again. People are coming on already. Okay, so just respond to them. Welcome to the meeting. So everybody's welcome. Super glad you guys are here. All right, so I have some super exciting news that I want to share with everybody. Whenever I sent out all of the invites to this meeting tonight, I sent out for like 285 people. All right, so what that means is that there were 285 individual people who participated this last summer in all of the camps that we did throughout the summer, from Dumas all the way to Belize. All right, so 285 people that we got to work together and make a difference this last summer. And listen, guys, we together ministered to over 1,000 kids this summer. So I'm super excited about that. Give yourselves a hand clap. That is awesome. All right, and in that, one of the things that I've shared everywhere that we've gone is that we're in the process of Cities for Kids becoming a 501c3, its own nonprofit organization, so that it's a standalone charity and it's not like officially connected to a church, even though we work with churches everywhere that we go. And so we've been working on getting that. We've been in the process for the last year, and this week we officially got our status, our 501c3 charity status. We're tax exempt. People can give to the organization. So I'm super excited about that. It's been a year-long process, and praise God, everything came through. And the other thing that I wanted to tell you about that, why is that important? Why is it important to have a 501c3 of our own? The reason is because there are government agencies that will give money, will give scholarships, will give grant money to organizations that are doing things in their community for kids, like what we do with our camps. And so even though it's faith-based, they're happy to give hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it just can't be a church. And so I really felt like God spoke to me about 2 years ago to start the process to become our own 501c3, so that opens the door for this ministry to have funding from a much larger pool. All right. So I already know that there are like hundreds of thousands of dollars here in the Panhandle of Texas that are looking for an opportunity to give to our Super Kids camp that we do here in Dumas every year, but they haven't been able to because it's always been under the umbrella of a church. But that's no longer the case. So if you're connected with any kind of corporate funding at all, you can certainly help us out by putting our name in the hat for any corporate funding that's available. We'll fill out any appropriate paperwork. We'll fill out grant applications, like anything like that we can do. If you know of something like that, we certainly want to participate in all of that because it's for the children that we're connected to. And those funds can go not only to the camp here in Dumas, but also to camps that we do around the world wherever we go. All right, so I'm very excited about that. So everybody also wanted to let you guys know several things for next summer. So the trips for 2020, summer trips, we already have 5 camps on the calendar for next summer. So Lisa, could you hand me those papers? I want to pass those out here. For those of you who are watching online, you can go to an online link. Those of you that are here can go to an online link. Here's what I want you guys to help me out with tonight. One of the first things I need you to help me out with. On this paper, I have a list of all of the trips that we currently have scheduled next summer. All right, 2 of them don't have a date yet. So the date is not there just yet, but it is going to be happening within the next 2 weeks. I'll have dates for those as well. All right, so there is an online link where you can go and fill those out and tell me if you were going to go on these trips in the next 2 months. If we're just like, pretend it's April already, all right, or January, whatever date it is that you feel like you need to make a decision, pretend it's already that time and you're looking at the summer, you're looking at the trips. I know nobody is able to say to me, I totally know my schedule next summer. So I'm not asking you to put a deposit on a trip tonight. I'm not asking you to give me, like, if you fill out this paper and you tell me you want to go on all the trips, I am not going to come hunt you down and make you go on every trip, all right? I just want to know where your heart's at. Where are you leaning? What if you could choose today what trips you want to participate in next year? The reason that I need that is because I'm already talking to pastors. I'm already going to be booking things like airfare and hotels and like looking at what's available for those things. And I need to have a pretty good guess. I don't have to have a definite amount, but a pretty good guess of what people are wanting to participate in for next summer. All right. So if you're online, I'm going to send you that link. You need to just send me a personal message and I'll send you the link to be able to do that online. Those of you guys that are here tonight, you'll be able to get that link from Miss Lisa here in a few minutes, or you can just fill out this paper, either one. Okay, so you fill out the paper, fill out the link. It'll take 30 seconds and then I'll kind of know where your heart's at for next summer. So the trips that we have, our Dumas camp is June the 1st to the 5th. I want to invite everybody watching by Facebook, come help us in Dumas, no matter where you're from. If you're from Gallup, if you're from Lubbock, if you're from Kentucky, if you're from Nebraska, come help us in Dumas. We want everybody to come. The Dumas fees are really inexpensive because we have housing here at the church. All right, so it's only $65 for someone coming from out of town to come and participate in camp here. That covers your camp t-shirt, and then it helps cover the cost of your food. It doesn't cover all of your food, but it covers a lot of it, all right? So that's the only cost for that trip. If you want to come to Dumas, it's only $65. The following week, the very next week, so the dates for the Dumas are June the 1st to the 5th. June 1st to the 5th. So that's going to be a tight schedule for those of us living here in Dumas because graduation is on Friday, and then we start camp on Monday morning. Okay? We've done it before. We prefer not to, but that's what's going to happen this next year, all right? So it's going to be a little bit of a tight squeeze, but it's going to be awesome. Now, the next tight squeeze starts the following weekend because we're going to leave for Kearney on Saturday after we finish in Dumas on Friday. Okay? Kearney camp is going to start the next week, all right? So we're either going to leave on the Saturday or the Sunday, one or the other. The team from Kearney are going to get a lot of the early prep done in advance. Because they've been doing it for 2 years, and so they're well able. And so I've talked with Pastor Mitch, and so it's going to be back-to-back, but we're going to be able to make it happen. We're going to get lots of organization done in advance. So you're just going to have to, like, eat your Wheaties, all right? If you're planning to go to Dumas and Kearney, you're just going to have to take some vitamins, and it's going to be good. And go to bed on time. If you do that, you'll be fine, all right? So, so the camp in Kearney is June. Uh-oh, we have the wrong dates on here, Lisa. Do we? 5th, 6th, 7th. Yeah, it's the following week. I have the wrong dates on this one, so I don't know. This is what we sent to Katie as well, isn't it? For our online form. Guys, we'll get that changed on this form, and we'll also get it changed on the online form. But the camp in Kearney is the week after the one in Dumas, and Dumas is the 1st to the 5th, so that's going to be 6th, 7th. It's going to be 8th. June the 8th is when we're having the camp in Kearney. Okay? All right, then we have a big change up for our Gallup camp this year. It's been in July for the last several years, but we're going to leave at the end of June this year. All right, so June the 27th to July the 4th. That's going to be our dates for Gallup. We're, of course, going to be joining with Pastor John Tash, ministering to the Navajo Indian Reservation, and the cost for the trip to Gallup is $575. The cost for the trip to Kearney is $400. Okay? Then I'm so excited. We have two international trips in July. 2 international trips. All right. So listen, if you're like, you know what, I am a missionary at heart, I'm going to go everywhere. Okay. Then you're going to be gone most of the month of July. Okay. So our first trip, I'm so excited. Ireland. We're going to go to Ireland and help Pastors Anthony and Brianna Lifehouse Church in County Waterford, Ireland. And so that camp is going to be, where that trip is going to be July the 10th to the 19th. July 10th to the 19th. And we may extend it by 1 day. I'm just not positive. It depends on how many people I have that are going on both trips. How many people that I have that are going on Ireland and the following week, Belize. All right, so we have those two international trips in July. There's about 5 days between the 2 trips. They would like us to stay in Ireland through the 20th. And so depending on how many people are going on both trips, we may go ahead and stay to the 20th, but we may not, because if everybody needs to get back and get ready for Belize, we may not be able to stay the 20th. So it's one of the things I have to decide based on y'all's responses tonight, seeing how many people are planning to do both. If I have a lot of people that are planning to do both, we're going to come back on the 19th, so that gives you one extra day to get ready for Belize. But if everybody kind of chooses differently and they're like, you know what, I don't want to do 2 international trips in one summer because they're expensive, I'm just going to do one. If most of the team are doing that and it doesn't conflict, then we'll go ahead and stay for the 20th because they've asked us to. They like the team to stay through that Sunday. All right.
What's the date you're actually leaving for Belize?
We're leaving. Okay, so then the Belize. Let me say this about Ireland. So the Ireland trip is our most expensive trip. And you need to understand why. The reason it's the most expensive is because airfare to Ireland in the summer is about $1,400 just for the airfare per person. All right, so it's their tourist season. That's when most people travel to Ireland, is through the summer, and so that's why the fees are so much more expensive. But it's the only time that we can go and do a kids camp, because the kids in Ireland are only out of school in July and August. Okay, they go to school all the way through the end of June, and they start back the 1st of September. So we have to go during those 2 months if we're going to do a camp, and so that's why we are going to go whenever the airline is so expensive. All right, so it's $2,700 to go to Ireland. $1,400 of that is airfare. That will cover your sightseeing as well, though. So we're going to be seeing some castles. We're going to be going to like the oldest operational lighthouse in the world. Like, there's several really fantastic things that we're going to get to do, and those prices are covered in that $2,700. You will not have to have extra spending money except for souvenirs. Okay, so that's the cost for Ireland. Then we get back from Ireland on the 19th or the 20th, and we leave for Belize on July 25th. All right, July 25th is the following Saturday, and we'll be gone, and we'll come back on August the 1st. So July 25th to August the 1st is our camp for Belize. And I'm super excited that we're going to get to go back this year. Okay. Now, the cost for Belize, I did not charge enough this year. So we were in the hole. And so I have to charge a little bit more for Belize, but I'm still keeping it as low as we possibly can. So Belize is $1,300. All right. So it's $150 more per person than what we did this year. And the reason is mainly because of the golf carts and equipment that we have to rent once we get there. And that was a couple $1,000s worth of stuff that I didn't account for last year because it was my first time to go. Okay, so that's why Belize is a little more expensive. It's $1,300. So when we go to Belize, you will have to bring your own spending money for sightseeing or activities and stuff that you do. So how many of you went to Belize this year? How much did you spend in your spending money? A lot?
I didn't spend that much.
Sandy didn't spend that much because she normally doesn't do a whole lot of extra. So would you say a couple $100 or?
Oh gosh, you could do half that.
You could do half that, like $100 even. You could still do some stuff. Okay. Those of you who went swimming with sharks, y'all spent what, about $150 altogether for your spending money? And you got to go swim with sharks, and you also got to feed what were those things called? Those fish. Oh, and you were swimming with sharks and stingrays.
Oh,
And then you also fed the tarpons, and there was something else. Oh, some people went paddle boarding, different stuff like that. So it just varies on what activities you want to do, how much money you're going to need for that. All right. But in all of these trips, your food is included except for your travel there and back. Travel there and back, that'll be spending money that you have to bring for all of the trips. Okay. Yes. Question.
What if we've never been on an airplane before?
You know what? We had about 5 people this year that was their first time to fly, and they had a blast. Nobody was freaked out. Everybody had a great time. But we can also knock you out. We can give you drugs. No, I'm joking. It's really fun. It's really fun.
Circles in the air?
They don't. They will not do any kind of barrel rolls in the big plane. No.
You're not.
It's so funny that you say that, because whenever we first started traveling internationally, one of the first things we did was bought our son a little toy plane. And whenever he got that plane, he was super excited, and he hadn't been on a plane yet, and so he's got the plane and he starts going like this. And Pastor Frank grabbed that from him. He's like, no, that is not how that plane goes. That plane goes just like this, right? Okay. So, yeah, that's a good question though for someone who hasn't flown before. Okay. It was Christian. He was our oldest son. Yeah. Okay, so then there's two other trips that I don't have dates for yet. Okay, now these trips I'm really excited about as we're making a church merge with his church, and after in January, for those of you who don't know, in January C3 is going to become his church Dumas. And that'll be the name of our church, his church of Dumas. So we're having this merge. We're going to be doing a lot of great stuff. Well, his church has two campuses right now. They're launching another one in September, and then we'll be their fourth launch in January. So by the time we get around to next summer, there'll be at least four churches that are all combined and as one church but different locations. And one of those locations is in Kentucky, and then one of the locations is in Amarillo. And so we're already talking with pastors from those campuses and talking about what those plans are going to look like next summer for camps in those locations. So I'll be able to give you more details on that within the next 2 weeks. But I do know that a trip to Amarillo, being gone the whole week, is probably going to cost right around $300. Okay, yeah, $300. Hotel, food. The biggest cost in travel is food, because it's like $30 a day per person. Okay, and then so that's why all trips, if you did $30 a day per person, let's say $30 a day, that's $150 for a 5-day trip. But we usually have to leave on Sunday or leave on Saturday, come back on Saturday. So you're looking at 7 days. So $210 of that $300 is food. Okay, so I don't know exactly what the accommodation is going to look like in Amarillo. I don't know if we're going to sleep in the church. I don't know if we're going to stay in host homes. I don't know what we're going to do. Yes, sir. We could potentially do that. We could. If you do that, then you'd still have to pay like the $210 for food. Do you know what I'm saying? Unless you brought your own food with you, which I would be open to you doing. You know, we can definitely talk about some of those things. All right. But gas to and from is going to get costly if you drive back and forth every day. Okay. So I won't say it's going to be as much as food, but it'll still cost you. All right. So those are definitely some things that we can think about. But that's why I've just estimated about $300 for that. And I put approximately for Amarillo and for Kentucky, because until I know dates and exactly what we're doing, I won't know those prices entirely. But we did a 3-day camp this year in Shamrock, and our 3-day camp in Shamrock, I budgeted $210, and it cost every bit of that. Like every bit of the money that people gave, we had to spend on hotel and food, you know, and gas. All right, so so that 300 is going to be pretty close. All right, then Kentucky, again, it's going to be like we're going to have to drive, so it's going to be a lot of on the road, driving for 2 days there, driving for 2 days back. So there'll be hotel costs and food for all of those days. So the cost for the Kentucky camp, I'm estimating right now, is going to be $575. Okay. So obviously, like I said already, I know you cannot tell me exactly for sure what you're going to do next year, but I just want to know where your heart is. So I would like everybody to fill out the online link, which we're going to send you the online link. Also, or those of you that are here, you can fill out the link, or you can fill out this paper right here and just give me an idea. That's going to help me as we make plans and get these things more firmed up. And I'll just keep everybody posted and knowing exactly what those dates are, what the final cost is going to be. By the time we get to January, I'm definitely going to be looking for deposits by January. Okay, we may want deposits for Ireland even sooner. Which brings me to the next thing I want to talk to you guys about, and that is raising funds. The reason I wanted to go ahead and have a meeting right now at the end of August is because I want everybody to have the most amount of time that they can to raise funds. I want you to be able to go on every trip that you in your heart desire to go on. All right, but that takes planning. You guys cannot wait until April. You can't wait until June if you're wanting to go on any of these trips, but especially if you want to go on an international trip. You've got to start planning now. So the thing about that is it's not going to be hard. That's not the hard part. The hardest part of all of this is praying and understanding in your heart, what am I supposed to do for next summer? Once you know that, the money's easy. Okay? You're going to have to work for it, but it'll come in. it'll come in. You're going to have to do some things to get that money to come in. You're going to have to send out some letters. You're going to have to talk to some businesses. You're going to have to like be willing to do odd jobs. You're going to have to save some of your money from the jobs that you work. But you can do this. It will come in super easily. Last year, guys, for myself and Cross to go on every trip that we had last year, including both of us going to Belize, it cost about $4,800. $4,800. We had all of it by the end of April. All of it. Okay. Then, not only that, we had extra come in. And so Pastor Frank was also able to go to Belize. Okay. And then we still had money left over for spending. Okay. So not a whole lot. It was not like we spent a whole bunch of money wherever we went, but we had a little bit left over for spending. Cross did some odd jobs for some spending money. Like we did some things. So it's not hard. We started fundraising in February. We had all of it by the end of April. If you'll start now, there is no reason why you cannot have your funds by next summer to go on any trip or as many trips as you want to go on. It can happen. Okay. So just get excited and believe God. God wants to help you go on missions trips. Okay. He's on your side. He's not against you. He just needs you to make a decision. Am I going to do it? God, I feel like this is in my heart. Like which trips am I going to take? And then make your decision. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pursue it. And God will back you up. Okay. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about right now. So fundraising. We're going to do 2 official fundraisers that we will help you to do. We're going to do 2 raffles. We're going to do 1 raffle in October. Okay, so by the beginning of October, I will have raffle tickets ready and I will have raffle items. When you do a fundraiser like this, the items are not as important because people are really largely supporting a good cause. No matter what I've raffled off, I sell the same amount of raffle tickets no matter what I'm raffling. Okay, so it's not really as much about what we do, but we're going to get some good items, some great prizes that we're going to be able to give away. So we're going to be doing that through the month of September, and then the beginning of October through the end of October, we're going to do a raffle. So you'll have about 4 weeks to actually sell tickets. Michael Vargas, you heard about raising money for Navajo trip this year on like a Monday, and you needed $575, and by Friday. But by Thursday or Wednesday, he had all of that $575 through 1 week of selling raffle tickets. Okay, so we're going to do a raffle in October. We're going to do another raffle in the spring, probably around March or April. Okay, so those are the 2 raffles that we're going to do. They're going to be official Cities for Kids fundraisers that are going to help as many people as possible. And you can participate on those if you're from Nebraska, if you're from Lubbock, no matter where you're from, Kentucky, Amarillo, any of the other places that we're going that you want to raise funds, you can participate from anywhere in that raffle. Okay, and we will then give out those prizes and we'll hopefully help a lot of people earn some money really quick. So listen, if Michael can earn over $500 in 1 week, like what can you do with the next 8 months? All right, like you can definitely go on any trip that you want to go on. You just have to get out there and sell those tickets. So Michael, were you able to just sit at the house and earn that $500? You had to go walking around. You had to put some action to it. That's right. Okay, so that's one thing. One of my favorite fundraising things to do myself is send out a letter to friends and family. Listen, if I get a letter in the mail from one of my nieces, my nephews, a cousin's kid, saying, I'm going on a missions trip, I want to get behind that young person, I want to get behind that young adult, I want to help be a part of that. And I might not be able to pay for their whole trip, but I can send them $25, and I can help them. And so there's a lot of people like me that want to do that want to help support young people, young adults going on missions trips. All right. So I send out a letter after the first of the year and tell everybody what it is we're doing. Cross and I, Pastor Frank, these are the trips we're taking this summer. This is how much it's going to cost. Will you pray with us? Will you believe God with us? And just give as God puts it on your heart. And, we have huge response every time. All right. So, and it's friends, it's family, it's people that know you, it's teachers, people that you're in contact with, that want to see you succeed in life. Okay. So that's a really great fundraiser. It tends to bring in quite a bit of money. All right. And so then, in Dumas, I don't know if this is the case every place that we, in all of the different communities that we're going to, but in Dumas, the businesses in this town are very generous. and they also want to see young people doing something for God and making the difference in the life of other people, right? So a lot of times just saying, hey, will you sponsor me? I'm raising $2,000. I've already saved like $750. Would you be a sponsor and help me get there? They are so generous, and sometimes they can give you $25. Some of them will give you $300. Okay, so those are some things that you can do, all right, to earn some money. And these 2 raffles that we're going to do is another way to earn money. And listen, you could go to any door nearly in Dumas and just knock and say, hey, I'm going on a missions trip and I'm earning money. Do you have any odd jobs that I could do for you? And if they're like, how much is it going to cost? You say, listen, whatever you want to pay me is fine. I just want to earn my way to do missions for God, right? And then they might have you mow the yard, they might have you wash windows, they might have you clean out the garage, and some of those places will give you $25, some will give you $40, but some will give you $200. Okay, Pastor Frank and Cross last year went and they were painting letters on numbers on curbs, the house numbers on curbs, and they're only charging about $20 to do that. And so a lot of people paid $20 for that. But then there were some that were like, you know what, I want to support what you're doing, and they gave them $300. All right, so you got to be willing to work. You got to be willing to make some effort. You cannot just be like, oh God, I know you're going to provide all of this for me. Listen, faith is great, but the Bible says faith without works is dead. All right? So you got to be willing to do both. You got to be willing to work for it. You got to be willing to, do what it takes to get yourself out there. This year, several people did GoFundMe, and had some money comes in through GoFundMe on Facebook. All right? So there's different things that you can do. There's lots of opportunities. But now let me tell you one thing. I need everybody 100% focus. All right? When you raise money, whether it is selling a raffle ticket or painting on a curb or GoFundMe or anything like that, when you do that and you tell people, I am doing this for missions, as soon as you get that money, you need to turn it in for missions. Okay? You can't wait. And the reason is because the IRS is not going to be happy if you're putting money back in a savings account and just wait up until later. Okay? When you raise that money, it is the way that a 501c3 operates. It is the law. Okay? So when you raise that money for a mission trip like that, you need to turn it in right away. So if you're selling raffle tickets this fall, if you put it out there on GoFundMe, anything you do, as soon as you get that money in your bank account, you need to turn it in. And listen, we have a whole accounting program. We keep track of that down to the penny. We keep very close track of all the money that comes in, and we designate it for whatever trip you want us to. So let's say right now you're like, you know what, I am planning to go on 4 trips next summer, and I am raising my money, and I raise $1,000. All right, you go ahead and you turn that in, and you may not know exactly which trips you're even going on yet, but that money is turned in. We're able to send receipts to the people that gave it to you, people who gave donations to you, people who gave donations. But that is the way that it has to work. The only way that people can get tax money, the only way they can get receipts is you've got to get that money turned in as soon as possible so we can get them a tax receipt. But not only that, you cannot raise money for missions and then spend it on something else. Okay? It would be bad for you, and it would be bad for the Cities for Kids organization. Okay? So as soon as you raise money that you've told people, this is for missions. Now, if you're working and you're putting back part of your check every time and you're saving that for missions, you do not have to turn that in until you're ready to turn that in, because that's your money still, right? But if you've raised it for missions and you've told people that that's what it's for, you have to turn it in right away. And then you're like, well, Miss Teresa, what if I turn that money in and then I don't go on the trip? What if I do that? You still raise that money for that trip, okay? So you can't not turn it in. You've got to turn it in. But if for any reason you don't get to go on a trip, this year we had Johanna. Johanna was scheduled to go on every trip that we had scheduled this summer, and she was raising funds for it, and she was getting it all in. And so 2 days before she went to Belize, she had a golf cart wreck, and had a broken arm, had injured leg, had these things. And so she went ahead and went to Belize, and she had money raised for Gallup, New Mexico, and she also had money raised for Shamrock. And so what she had to do with those is we're leaving that in her name for a whole year. Okay, so next year she can use that on any City for Kids trip that she wants to go on. I can transfer that to whatever trip she wants to go on, Cities for Kids for next year, okay? So we'll keep it for a year. After that, it'll just go into the Cities for Kids account, and it'll be used for whatever the needs of the ministry are at that time, okay? But that's how it has to work for us to keep everything legit and legal, all right? So I want everybody to be equipped to raise funds, but I want everybody to have a really high level of integrity because you're working with a ministry that has to have a high level of integrity for God to be able to bless us and continue for us to go forward, all right? And just grow and do all the things that God's calling us to do. So, does anybody have any questions about fundraising? Pastor Frank, can you check and see if anybody has questions on Facebook?
Lisa said, can she donate some things from Saudi Arabia? So,
Oh, yes, absolutely. Lisa, that would be awesome.
towards the items.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. So if you want to donate items towards the raffle for some things that, so we can earn more money, that would be a huge blessing. Yes, Lisa, thank you for that. I love you. You're awesome. All right. Lisa's one of my closest friends, like that. We've been friends for years and years, but she's in another country right now most of the time. Sometimes she's at home, but praise the Lord. Anybody else have questions on Facebook that you've seen, babe, that I need to answer? Okay. All right. Anybody questions in here about fundraising? Any questions about any of the trips that we're planning right now? Yes, Miss Sandy.
Shamrock next year?
I don't have a date for Shamrock. Pastor Joe has not asked me for a particular date for Shamrock. So we'll have to wait and see if he asks us to come back. Okay. Anybody else have questions? It's a very good one, though. We had a great time in Shamrock. That 3-day camp in Shamrock was fantastic. Anybody else? Yes, Carlin?
Is it going to be another 3 days this next year, or is it going to be longer?
For Shamrock? They haven't asked us for a date yet. I don't even have a date for them. So because our summer is already full, the only way that I'll be able to do a Shamrock camp where we send a team is if we have people that are available to go on the date that they want it. So I'll just have to kind of talk to some of the people that went this year and talk to Pastor Joe and see what we can work out. But at the moment, they haven't asked us, and they never told us definitely. Like, I think most of the people that were working for the 3-day camp in Shamrock were like, we really want to do a 5-day camp next year, you know. So we'll see. It was a fantastic week whenever we went. So we'll see what they decide. Anybody have any other questions? Okay. Let me think if there was anything else that I wanted to say. I think that's it, guys. I just wanted to get that information out there, kind of tell everybody how to go about your fundraising. I'm super excited. I have had 3 people from Kearney, Nebraska, say that they want to come live in Dumas for the summer and go with us everywhere. So I am super excited about that. So come on, Kearney. Come on, we want you. All right. Anybody else that wants to come from anywhere, we have the facility to be able to house interns that want to come and do something like that and give God their whole summer. So anyway, it's going to be awesome. If anybody has any other questions, you can certainly personal message me, or you can like send me a text, anything like that. But we're going to get ready for that fundraiser. I'll be sending out more information about the October fundraiser. And tonight, I just really need to know where your heart's at. Where are you leaning? So you can fill out this paper, or you can fill out the online link and get that information to me tonight. Love you guys all. Thanks for coming, and God bless. Have a wonderful night.